they stop collecting their security votes, which they are not using for anything. For example, if they stop paying their past governors and deputy governors pension while they sit at the National Assembly, they will have more money to pay. If they reduce the cost of governance in their respective states, they will be able to pay. The federal government, including the National Assembly, are the ones who have the call. It's their call now. It is not our call. Our demand is there for them to look at and send a federal executive bill, an executive bill to the National Assembly.
He also spoke about the NLC's next line of action.
And now for the National Assembly to look at what we have demanded, the various facets of the law, and then come up with a National Minimum Wage Act that meets our demand. If that does not meet our demand, we have given the federal government a 1 week notice to look at the issues. And that 1 week expires tomorrow. If after tomorrow we have not seen any tangible response from the federal government, the organs of the organized labor will meet to decide on what next.
In the meantime, the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy to President Bola Tinubu, Bayo Onanuga, says Labour should accept the 62,000 naira offer. He spoke on Nigerian 4FM's Morning Crossfire in Lagos.
The President has not been formally briefed about the decision of the Tripartite Committee. 24 members of that Tripartite Committee are saying they adopt 62,000 naira as minimum wage. The Labour, the amount they are still offering is unrealistic. It cannot be paid by the federal government. It cannot be paid by the public sector. Otherwise, all of them will shut down.
He also addressed the speculations that subsidy is still being paid for petrol.
No subsidy whatsoever is being paid by the federal government of Nigeria for the fuel you consume in Nigeria. That is the policy of government. That still remains. People making claims subsidy was not paid. Let them, the onus is on them to prove that this is being done. Clearly written on the document itself, draft. In fact, all the pages to say draft.
Moving on, the Rivers State Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General Dagogo Iboroma says media reports that the State High Court in Port Harcourt ruled that Martin Amihule and 26 other lawmakers are still members of the PDP are misleading. Addressing newsmen, Mr. Iboroma said the suit did not seek to declare the seat of Martin Amihule and 26 others vacant. He also explained that the suit was struck out for want of jurisdiction and also for being an abuse of court process.
The government did not seek to declare the seats of Martin Amihule and 26 others in the Rivers House Assembly vacant. The suit of the claimants was struck out for want of jurisdiction and local standing, and also for being an abuse of court process, which thus robbed the Honorable Court of the jurisdiction to hear and agitate on the matter. There is the misleading news circulating in social media, print and electronic media, that Martin Amihule and 26 others are members of the People's Democratic Party and the Rivers State House of Assembly. As you all know,
the Attorney General of the state also said only the Federal High Court can determine whether Martin Amihule and the 26 others are still members of the PDP and also members of the Rivers State House of Assembly.
Section 2723 of the Constitution of Federal Government as amended, it is only the Federal High Court that can determine whether Martin Amihule and 26 others, still members of the People's Democratic Party and also members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. This much was held by the trial court. However, you will recall that there is a subsisting order of interlocutory injunction in suit number PHC. We urge the public to disregard the news presently making the rounds in social, print, and electronic media to the effect that Martin Amihule and 26 others have been declared as members of the People's Democratic Party and the Rivers State House of Assembly.
Now, also, a professor of law, Richard Nwokocha, says the ruling of the State High Court does not change anything. Speaking on Nigeria Info FM's Hard Fact, Professor Nwokocha explained that the judge struck out the ruling because he felt the petitioners did not have enough interest in the matter for him to hear the case.
All the court did is, no, I won't do what you're asking me to do. You are not proper persons. I don't have the power to do it because you are not proper persons to bring such question before me. So it cannot impact or affect any other thing or any other matter. No, they were defendants who were sued by another person who was praying the court to do something for him. And the court said, I don't think you're the proper person. I lack the power to do what you're asking because I don't consider you a proper person to raise the issue. Therefore, I dismiss the matter. The court did not make any order. The court did not confirm or deny anything.
Professor Wokocha said that affected lawmakers already announced their resignation before a court of competent jurisdiction.
So I think it is for me childish to consider the question whether they have resigned and whether PDP has removed their name from their register and whether APC has written their name in their own register. The gentlemen have taken their action. I followed it up with a public display at the end of that sitting and have filed suits in court stating on oath that they have. So on what ground are you raising the question whether or not they have when they have stated that on oath before courts of competent jurisdiction? So I think those questions are neither here nor there. They are for me relevant considerations.
In the same vein, the National PDP Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, said the party will issue an appropriate response after studying the court ruling. Mr. Ologunagba spoke to correspondent Onyeka Chinwosu.
The position is not anything different from what the Constitution says and what the Supreme Court has ruled in Adedunde and the Ondo State House of Assembly. It's clear. And there's several communications we have made on that. That's the position. They are telling me new developments. Of course, and I study that. When we study that, they will respond to that appropriately. If that happens, of course, we can't be commenting on. Number one, I can't comment on what I have not seen, what I have not heard. You're telling me, I believe you, so I'll try and investigate now and then get back as appropriate when we get that.
Also, the Coalition for Justice and Accountability (CJA) has called on the National Judicial Council (NJC) to probe the Rivers State High Court following the recent judgment. The coalition, in a statement issued by its president Dada Shegu Akin, faulted the High Court judgment, urging the NJC to look into the matter. Now, yesterday, Justice Okobule Wasam of the State High Court in Port Harcourt struck out a suit filed by one Hyacinth Amadi and 3 others seeking to declare the seat of Martin Amehule and 26 other lawmakers vacant for defecting to the APC in December last year. Justice Wasam ruled that the lawmakers are still members of the PDP. The judge said a defection cannot be established through newspaper publications, radio announcements, or online publications. It said a defection can only be established through the party membership register, a membership card, and such members fulfilling all requirements of their membership in the party. Emeko Onyeka, one of the lawyers to Martin Amehule, spoke to journalists after the court proceedings.
Well, the case was about challenging the seat of the members of the State House of Assembly, led by the Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Martins Chike Amehule. The claimant has sought the relief of the courts to declare their seats vacant. And of course, with what happened in court today, it's quite obvious they are unable to prove that indeed they have defected from PDP and has joined the APC. It's an issue of hard facts and, of course, the law. You don't just imagine defection and assume that it has occurred. It's something that must be predicated in law.
Still to come, CBN dismisses plan to revoke Wema, Polaris, Unity, Fidelity Bank's licenses. Stay with us.
I, Chief James Oji Ebere, JP, FCAR.
And now the rest of the news. President Bola Tinubu has replaced Solomon Arase as chairman of the Police Service Commission. The presidential spokesperson, Ajirin Gelale, announced in a statement on Monday that Hashimu Agungu is the new chairman of the commission. And now the Central Bank of Nigeria says there are no plans to revoke the operating licenses of Fidelity Bank, Wema Bank, Polaris Bank, and Unity Bank. Acting Director of Corporate Communications of CBN, Hakama Sadi Ali, stated this in a statement saying that the rumors of a plan to revoke the licenses of the banks were false. She said the defunct Heritage Bank was an isolated case.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
The United Nations Security Council has voted to support a U.S. proposed Israel-Gaza ceasefire plan. Now, the proposal sets out conditions for a full and complete ceasefire, the release of hostages held by Hamas, the return of dead hostages remains, and the exchange of Palestinian prisoners. 14 of the 15 Security Council members voted in favor of the U.S. drafted resolution. Russia abstained.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
That's a wrap on the news this morning. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. Tripartite Committee on Minimum Wage has submitted a report to federal government. River State government has given a different explanation to a court ruling on defected lawmakers. CBN has dismissed plans to revoke Wema, Polaris, Unity, Fidelity Bank's licenses. And on the foreign scene, UN Security Council has backed U.S.-Israel Gaza ceasefire plan. The news was edited by Chioma Eziwafo. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifichuku Moyeli. Many thanks for listening.